Welcome back to PH.d TV, and today we will be going over Guess Seductive Homme Blue. So the thing about Guess Seductive Homme Blue, you probably don't know the name of it, but I do probably guarantee that you have seen it in a rack store, like TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls, things like that. I've never not seen these here, and I've seen them in the $20 range at all times. $20 for the 3.5 ounce bottle and about 15 bucks for the 1.5 ounce. And thankfully I got mine for 9 bucks for a 3.5 ounce because my box was damaged. So I thought I'd give you a review. And speaking of the box, here is the box, and look how damaged, I swear. But to get this fragrance for 9 bucks instead of the regular 20, I'm totally cool with whatever they consider damaged. But this box, it doesn't really say anything about the fragrance. It does say it is a blue fragrance, even though when we get to the scent, I'm probably gonna tell you that's probably not a really good description. But overall, it's not the world's most informative box, even though it does have a pretty slick design. It does tell you somewhere at the bottom what it is, but overall, it just kind of keeps you guessing. Sorry, I had to. And going into the bottle, this is it right here. If I'm being honest, I actually do find the bottle to be very masculine in presentation. I do feel as if you had this in your collection, it would stand out to be a very prominent bottle. It's very broad, very simple. To me, I do think it's just masculine, even though it may not be the most original. As you see, it does have the word Guess etched into the side of the bottle. And of course, since it is called Seductive Homme Blue, it does still stick with the blue coloring. Now the cap, it just goes on and off like that. It does click in place, but it does not necessarily stick there. The atomizer clips on, but it's not the world's most impressive cap. But again, you leave it alone, it looks impressive. Now, something that I will say, that when I tried this out the first time and even checked it out, the atomizer was actually very impressive in how it sprayed. It does disperse very well. It does give a very fine mist, which is very good for distribution. So to me, the scent is very light, and it does really focus on using aromatics more than it does actual projection. And to me, it does smell like a vague copy of La Nuit de l'Homme, so it will have an expensive smell to it if you are familiar with La Nuit de l'Homme. But it is also a very synthetic expensive smell. Whereas with La Nuit de l'Homme, you can actually tell they may have used more authentic and genuine oils, or some other aromatics that will probably be more expensive than the ones that you'll find here. But for a cheaper alternative to La Nuit de l'Homme, this is not actually that bad in terms of the scent and how close the scent is to what it's trying to mimic. For the price point, I'm gonna say you found a pretty good priced clone. So for the scent, I'm actually gonna give that an 8 out of 10. And now moving on to projection and longevity, as I do with most of these videos, or will try to do with almost all of them, I will wear this the night before or the day before while I edit my videos, so I can give a proper, more authentic opinion on the fragrance. So I'm not leading you astray, and give you the best review possible. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I'm a relatively heavy sprayer. So I put some on my neck, I put some on my arm, I put some on my chest, my clothes, all the pulse points, so I could see how good this projection would be, and also how good the longevity would go. And as I said, this scent is very light. It's probably now gonna be one of the lighter ones in my entire catalog of fragrances. But that's not to say that it is bad and that there's not a situation for it. Because while I was editing, if I made a small movement, I would get a whiff of it. If I got up and came back, it would still be lingering in the air, but it was very light. But as I said, it really relies on the aromatics. It's not a projection beast. It is a fragrance that will predominantly lie in the air, rather than say, hey, it's me, and people look to you to wonder what you're wearing. People will probably wonder who is wearing it because it's in the air rather than tracing back to you. And this aromatic projection did go on very strong for about 2 hours. In the 3rd hour, it started to fade away. In the 4th hour, it became a skin scent, and by the 5th hour, it was borderline non-existent. So this would be a fragrance that you would have to keep on hand and reapply as the day went on. Or if you decide to go to a party, if you're gonna be there longer than 5 hours, you might wanna take it in the car with you and spritz it on as a pick-me-up, as a refresher. So ultimately, my projection rating is gonna go to a 7 out of 10. And for longevity, I'm gonna rate that a 6 out of 10. And with all these scores combined and with everything averaged out, the overall scent would be, oh yeah, I'll do that math, I didn't do that last night. So my overall score for this fragrance is going to be a 7.3 out of 10, where the scent itself reigns high, but the projection and the longevity really put a Debbie Downer on the entire fragrance as a whole. But that is not to say it is not a bad fragrance. In fact, I would probably consider this to be a very very average fragrance that smells very good. And for the price, it's not that bad of an option if you just wanted a backup bottle of something that smelled expensive, did not have that good projection or longevity, but gets the job done for a quick get together, running out to the store, or running some errands. It doesn't matter, it is a very good, cheap alternative to another expensive smelling fragrance. And the thing is, I could see this actually being a relatively universal smell between the ages of a high schooler to maybe even a late 40s, early 50-year-old man. Because even though it does smell like a very gentlemanly-like fragrance, the syntheticness of it all does de-age it a little bit, which does lead me to believe it will fit for a younger audience a little bit better. But if you do range in that late teen to early 50 age range, which is a pretty great range to begin with, I actually think you'll be taken care of just fine. And in my opinion, I would go as far as to say that this would be a good summer, fall, spring scent, but I do feel it would be way too light for the winter, but it would do fantastic for the fall and late summer, and maybe even spring. But I'm probably gonna get the most use out of this in the fall, because even though it is called a blue fragrance on the box, and the bottle is blue, most fragrances are colored according to what season they belong in, and I just don't see this being a strictly summer type, fresh scent. I honestly would consider this to be more of a green type scent. It is a lot more earthy, a lot more herbal, and maybe even grassy. But again, you are gonna get the synthetic versions of each of those smells. Long story short, I do find this to be a fall scent, if I had to give it a specific season. And you can find this at a Target, a Marshalls, a TJ Maxx, rack stores like I said earlier in the video. And you will be finding this at a $20 range for a 3.5 ounce and about 10-15 bucks for an ounce and a half. But I would obviously say this is the best value, especially if you feel like you're gonna get some wear out of it. And also, since it is such a light scent, a bigger bottle will be good, because then you can spray as much as you want on, because with one of the smaller bottles, I feel like you're gonna fly through that pretty quickly with how much you have to apply it. And lastly, would I buy it again? If I'm being honest, I don't know. Offhand, with an initial reaction wearing it one time around the house, as I said, the projection longevity didn't impress me, and my fiance smelled it, said it smelled good, but it wasn't anything special. So therefore, it's not like I'm adding anything to my collection that I don't already have, which does bring me to the question, would I buy it again? And sadly, probably not. But I will say that this scent was good enough to make me excited to try some more of Guess's products, because this was a very good quality synthetic. As I said, it does get the job done for going out to get groceries, doing some errands, doing small day-to-day tasks. But in terms of going to a big event, I'm not gonna say this is gonna be your monster complimenter. This is no beast mode fragrance, and I'm even gonna say this is probably not gonna be the ultimate compliment getter due to it being so light. But that is my ultimate score, is a 7.3 out of 10, which is right on average, but ultimately it is up to you. And that's today's episode. Thank you so much for watching my review on Guess Seductive Homme Blue. If you like this, please let me know, comment down below, and subscribe. And if you want me to review any other fragrances, please let me know. I'll see what I can do. And if you want me to look into any other Guess fragrances, be specific and I'll see what I can do. And if you want me to review any other Guess fragrances, please let me know and put them down below as well. I can look into them, because I know my rack stores around me carry almost the entire line. Whether it be the classic Seductive Homme, the Seductive Homme Noir, let me know. And that's it for today's episode. And that's it from me. I hope you all are safe out there. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.